I'm going to talk a little AMC today. Look, we traded it yesterday to the long side, but today, preliminary earnings and a 1.1 billion number get thrown out there. Of course, beating estimates, and year over year, up from like a 160 million. So you just knew there was going to be some firework action today, and you wanted to be on the long side of it. However, we're going to come in and early pre-market, we'll start with the 1 minute, because in the pre-market, you already had a ramp. 7 a.m., retail came in. It got bought all the way up to $19. So 17 and 19, you're already gapping up. Support in the afternoon the day before was at $14.60, and you're making almost a $5 move into 19 even. So at this point, kind of know we're going to be looking at buying the dips. So we have to go to the higher time frame as we usually do. And in a name where you had that bump down, you're starting to look at where the previous resistance was. And the first level was up here around that 1660 when we had that V shape. You're gapping essentially through everything, right? So the first area of resistance was 1660. On the way back down, we're going to be very, very patient. At the open, it tries to spike up. Not going to get trapped going long here off of the open. We're looking for the 1660 area. It does pop down one time, and just in front, tries to take out 17 even and makes a consolidation. Like, okay, that's in front of our 1660. We'll try a 17 long. We get long. It pumps up to 1725. Slams right back down to that support at 17 even. We get more shares. I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good. And it's not an iceberg order. There was just a seller in that quarter range. It would get to 25, 26, and then just slam down 3 or 4 cents. It would get to 25, 26, and slam down. So somebody was selling shares there every single time. We put a tight stop in saying, look, if it's going to get sold off here, you can always catch a breakout if it can get through that range. But our level was 1660. So we're going to let it break this, take the stop, and just re-engage at the absolute bottom. That's going to be bottom wick pretty much right at that 1660 level. And then from there, it was work it into VWAP in case we held this consolidation. I was definitely thinking about what had happened around 1725 and then making sure I got some shares out thinking it could retest and do a little of that barcode. End up missing that reload there. We definitely take some shares out in front of 1725 in case that same seller is there. We took some more shares out in front of VWAP, and then it's about let it ride. Now overall, yes, you have a gap up, and yes, you're on the plus side here, but let's not forget, from that 19 high, you're in a downward trajectory. You've got lower high here. You got lower high off that open around 1790. So I'm still thinking it might have some trouble breaking out, and I'm going to get in front of 18. Right there, you're going to have a nice 1660 to about $18 range. It was a good trade. The key thing is, you want to be to the long side. And this will happen when you get these big-time movers or heavily day-traded names. They just go in the pre-market. And sometimes they go so far in the pre-market that your only play is to be patient, allowing it to come back in. You couldn't really, unless you're in really early, you couldn't have even had that short. Very, very tricky to do it at that particular time of the day, it being AMC. But you had to be patient, pick the first level that came to mind, ends up holding like gangbusters, and guess what? I don't think AMC is done by any stretch of the imagination. We'll be back at that one probably in the next few days.